Welcome, my students and listeners. Today, in this video, we will discuss the Renaissance period, which expands from 1500 to 1600. First of all, we will look to the overview of the Renaissance period and the Renaissance. What is the meaning of the word Renaissance? Renaissance means rebirth. The Renaissance period in English literature is also called the Elizabethan period or the Age of Shakespeare. Why it is called a Renaissance? As we mentioned before, Renaissance, which means rebirth, and from about to 1500 to 1600, the world was reborn in many ways. New discoveries took place in several fields. Vasco da Gama circumnavigated the earth, and Columbus discovered America, and Copernicus discovered the solar system. Books were printed and so on. And this period is also called the Elizabethan period. Why it is called Elizabethan period? So Renaissance period is also called Elizabethan period because it largely coincides with the reign of Queen Elizabeth I of England, who was also fond of art, literature, and culture. Hence, the term Elizabethan is used to describe Renaissance in English history. And this Renaissance period is also known as the Age of Shakespeare. Why it is called the Age of Shakespeare? Because William Shakespeare lived during this time and his work was influenced by the Renaissance, and Shakespeare was the representative poet of the Renaissance period. And uh, the Renaissance period began in Italy, especially in art and architecture. This movement was started by Dante, Petrarch, and Boccaccio in Italy, then spread to other countries of Europe. The essence of this moment was that man discovered himself and the universe, and that man, so long blinded, had suddenly opened his eyes and seen. The main essence or the main feature of the Renaissance period was humanism. Humanism was the main feature of this moment. Humanism means deep interest in the problems of human personality. This moment focused on the proper study of mankind. The writers of this age directed their sight inward and became deeply interested in the problems of human personality. And in drama, Marlowe probed down into the deep human passions, and Shakespeare carried humanism to its perfection. And the other feature of the Renaissance period is that the first Englishman who wrote under the influence of Greek studies was Sir Thomas More. His Utopia, written in Latin in 1516, is an attempt to suggest ways to improve European society. Thomas More was a major figure of the English Renaissance who deeply cared about the moral and political responsibilities of individuals. During this period, the main achievement was in the field of drama. During the Renaissance, drama played a crucial role as a medium for exploring complex human emotions, reflecting societal issues, and celebrating humanistic ideals. All these can be seen in the works of Marlowe, Shakespeare, and Ben Jonson. Mm, Now, we come to the notable figures and works of the Renaissance period. So, the poetry in the Renaissance period took a new trend. It was the poetry of the new age of discovery. The poetry of Elizabethan age opens with the publication of a volume known as Turtle's Miscellany, as you can see on the screen. This Turtle Miscellany was written by Sir Thomas Yot or Thomas Wyatt, both are correct, and the Earl of Surrey. Both these poets wrote a volume of verses, which name was Turtle's Miscellany, in 1557. And and after that, Sir Philip Sidney, who born in 1554 and died in 1686, was a many-sided person. Sir Philip Sidney was a many-sided person. He was a soldier, a courtier, and a poet, and a prose writer. He was a versatile genius. He was a many-sided person. He was a soldier, a courtier, and a poet. He was both master in prose and poetry. The greatest dramatists of Renaissance period are Marlowe, Shakespeare, and Ben Jonson, respectively. Uh, Sir Philip Sidney wrote Arcadia and Apology for poetry, though both are in prose. But the Apology for poetry has some verse style verse poem. It has written in a poetic style, you can say. And the main genre during this period was drama, as we mentioned before. So, drama uh, started and was perfected by these great dramatists. Number one is Christopher Marlowe, who born in 1564. He was a contemporary of William Shakespeare and died in 1593. He wrote um, he wrote all dramas in the form of the tragedies. As you can see on the screen, Tamburlaine, Dr. Faustus, The Jew of Malta, Edward II, all these are tragedies. Next name who perfected the drama is William Shakespeare, the representative of the Renaissance period. He was also born in 1564 and he died in 1616. He wrote 154 sonnets and 37 plays. So, in next videos, then we will discuss that what were the style and what are the categories of these plays written by Shakespeare. Some of the plays are historical, some are tragedies, and some are comedies. The next name is Ben Jonson, who born in 1573 and died in 1637. The greatest name in non-dramatic Elizabethan poetry is that of Edmund Spenser. Edmund Spenser wrote The Fairy Queen and the Shepherd Calendar, as you can see on the screen. The Fairy Queen, Shepherd Calendar. The Fairy Queen is his masterpiece, and mm, the Fairy Queen is an allegory. This poem is of the great merit, and this is an allegory. The Fairy Queen is an allegory and the masterpiece of Spencer. So, this was the overview and the notable figures and works of the Renaissance period. See you in next video.